In the red corner, standing at a mammoth 6 feet 5 inches tall and stepping on the scale at 243 pounds, it's Great Britain's biggest bulldog, Lennox Lewis. Lennox would be coming into this fight with 33 wins, with 29 of them ending with Lewis dropping the hammer on them. He would be coming into the fight the reigning WBC heavyweight champion and looking to make his 7th title defense as the boxing world watched in. Looking to dethrone the heavyweight king, and standing in the opposite corner was an Eastern European animal of a fighter, standing at 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighing in at a lean 214 pounds, Zeljko Mavrovic. The Croatian would be coming in with a perfect record of 27 fights, 27 wins, with 22 by way of knockout. It's safe to say Lennox had his hands full with this mohawk monster. Lennox would be on the back of some great wins, including stopping boxing's biggest loudmouth Shannon Briggs and making light work of the giant Andrew Golota in 90 seconds flat. If Zeljko Mavrovic was going to get the win, he would need to bring something special to the ring that night.
It makes me think that maybe he doesn't think he's going to be in the ring with the champion himself. I'm not going to be sitting back just twiddling my thumbs. He's got to watch out definitely for me. If he's concerned about himself, he's definitely not concerned about me, so he should be concerned about me, because I'm very serious. I'm coming in there to win.
Before the fight with Mavrovic, Lennox Lewis had already cemented his place as a top-tier heavyweight. Born in London's East End, Lewis would dominate the amateur scene on the North American and world circuit before turning professional. After a series of impressive wins, he earned the WBC heavyweight title in 1993. Throughout the mid-1990s, Lewis had notable victories against fighters like Razor Ruddock, Tommy Morrison and Ray Mercer, all while refining his skills under the guidance of the esteemed trainer Emmanuel Stewart. Stewart was a legendary figure in boxing, having trained champions like Thomas the Hitman Hearns, redefining Lennox Lewis' status from a good 90s heavyweight champion to one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. Under his tutelage, Lewis developed into an even more complete fighter, combining his natural size and power with a more strategic and disciplined approach to boxing. However, despite his dominance, Lewis was often criticised for his lack of a defining fights against a prime opponent, with his career being overshadowed by the young American heavyweight scene.
3 pretty good champions over the last decade, and Tyson, Bowe, and Holyfield, all of them have found a reason not to fight Lennox Lewis.
In 1997, Lewis recaptured the WBC title after defeating Oliver McCall in one of the saddest stories in boxing. Lewis's status as the WBC champion remained intact, but the boxing world was still looking for him to prove his greatness with a defining performance against a worthy opponent. This jolly Londoner would have to bide his time and await the stars aligning for the mega matchups the boxing fans were waiting on. Zeljko Mavrovic, meanwhile, was an enigma to most boxing fans outside of Europe. Mavrovic was a rugged and determined fighter from Croatia who had enjoyed success in the back end of Europe. 4 years younger than the champion and hailing from Zagreb, Mavrovic was a late bloomer in professional boxing, making his mark in the heavyweight division during the 1990s. He became the European heavyweight champion in 1995, defending the title multiple times with an undefeated record. Despite his achievements in Europe, he remained largely under the radar on the global stage, weighing in 30 pounds lighter than Lennox. But what Mavrovic lacked in mass, he made up for in tenacity, resilience, and an unorthodox style that made him difficult to predict in the ring. Renowned for his iron chin, having never even been knocked down in his professional career. Outside the ring, Mavrovic led an interesting life that contrasted sharply with the image of many professional fighters. He was a staunch advocate of organic farming and health food, embracing a strict diet that eschewed meat and processed foods. This strict vegan made him a curious figure in the boxing world. Many questioned whether such a lifestyle could sustain the demands of a sport as punishing as heavyweight boxing. Fight night and the arena was packed. The Native American casino Mohegan Sun was the venue. We joined the fighters in the first round in the autumn of 1998. Would the heavyweight king twist the challenger up like a pretzel, or would this vegan have more than just oat milk up his sleeve?
Tantalizing. Shannon Briggs managed to get Lewis in trouble in his last fight, for which I think Lewis trained to fight about a minute. Ultimately wasn't able to put hooking to land his big right hand.
Yeah, by nature, he's got this confidence. As you can see, his opponent came out faked him and made him get on the run, only because
Mavrovic holds the left. I mean, if ever an opponent for Lewis has been open to the right hand, it appears that...
Take charge quick.
Lewis dropping a right hand to the body.
Right away, Mavrovic is fighting in an unexpected style.
Someone has got to land the first punch. He may as well be the heavyweight champ of the world. Why should you wait and count? Lewis just doesn't take a good punch. Doesn't know how to fight tall.
He flattens himself out by spacing his feet extremely wide apart and then leaning over to the opponent sometimes.
Take charge, let that jab fly out, fake every now and then, do some feints.
He's only thrown one real all-out hard right hand. There he throws to the body again. You don't often see intensity. Sticks the jab right into Lewis's face.
He's doing everything he ought to do in the first chest now. Shouldn't aim his shots to the head right now. This guy's head's going to be a little elusive because he's smaller.
Able to land in the first round, as did Shannon Briggs in the last Lewis assignment. Briggs
already starting to lean back as though he's a big counterpuncher now. Throws his jab and step back.
Professional career has been described by Larry Merchant as a natural counterpuncher. He's trained by a guy, Emmanuel Stewart, who's...
Lennox started cautiously, using his jab to control the distance, while Mavrovic was feeling out the champion. Lewis had the clear advantage with his reach, landing a few clean shots, but Mavrovic showed good head movement and defense.
By CompuBox numbers and round number, Harold Letterman gave the first round to Lennox Lewis.
You're just going to have to take charge, make him back up for a couple of rounds. He's got this right hand waiting.
Now, when Mavrovic moves to his left, and in the fights that we saw on tape,
takes him a little time to get his confidence up to start throwing that right hand. So it's not like you're actually stepping with his jab. He pushes off on his right foot and steps in as though he wants that jab to
how bad it is yet. But I do see some blood.
Now Lewis is starting to use his...
Of the right eyelid of Mavrovic that Larry pointed out. He insisted to us in our fighter meeting yesterday, the cut above the right eye would be a first.
And Lewis is giving his opponent a lot of confidence. You don't want to back up.
Is Lewis showing too much respect to Mavrovic?
Too much respect, and this it creates a tough fight for him.
It's like just a tiny pinhole cut above Mavrovic's right eye, but it is above the eyelid, so side for Lewis.
Lewis goes wisely back to the body with his jab.
More of the left hook from Lewis, but basically, let's face it, Lennox is a jab and right-hand fighter.
The second round would see Lewis began to assert his dominance more with his jab, but Mavrovic was proving to be tough and elusive. He kept his guard high and was able to absorb some of Lewis's harder shots. Mavrovic fired back with counterpunches but lacked the power to trouble Lewis.
To change this fight around.
Well, he's not busy enough to be winning rounds.
To take charge a little bit. He's not stepping backwards, rubbing his back on the rope like a small man. Isn't that correct? He goes back to the corner. He's facing some adversity. Now he knows, hey, look, I better pull it out.
There's the jab of Lewis. Snap.
Whoa, a good right hand by the Mavrovic.
Yep, Mavrovic against Evander Holyfield. Lewis missed. And the crowd at ringside chanting, Zeljko. Zeljko.
You should step to his right every now and then. To Lewis is on right, throw a right hand, throw things off a little.
Zeljko Mavrovic, probably the first vegetarian to fight in a heavy vegetables and fruits. Lots of tofu. Georgia, tofu grills.
No.
Tofu grills up very nicely.
It's nice for those who like it. Jab, and then secure your position in the ring so that the other guy backs away.
Right. Why not, George? As of course Lennox does right there.
Yeah, so there's no big champion. Now he pushes him away a little bit.
Has played 3 rounds of chess with Zeljko Mavrovic here.
The third round, and the crowd was starting to warm to the Eastern European. He was still very much in the fight and showed his resilience by absorbing Lewis's punches and occasionally landing body shots of his own. The round was still in favour of Lewis, but Mavrovic was holding his ground.
Trying to land right hands, thinking that that's where Lewis is most vulnerable.
Lewis backs Mavrovic up. Another right hand knocks him into the corner. Most aggressive posture so far.
I think Lewis should try to win the fight and let the knockout happen by itself. You
right up
out of the pure and natural flow of things, not just press it.
Arrow in the fourth is another fight. In the first 3 rounds, Lennox looked lackadaisical. Now he had a 2-1 Lewis. But I want to tell you again, he's going out, he's throwing shots. Look at that, he's jumping on him, dropping him around. It's a different Lewis.
The thing about it, though, you're 240 some odd pounds, and maybe.
All right, break. Both these.
Well, all of the people hadn't gone more than 5 rounds in more than 3 years.
No.
You step and you slide, so you don't have to worry about the guy slide forward. But to the left a little bit. Having the fear, you got to believe. Good left hook
By mavrovic. Just as other Lewis opponents have found him easy to find in punches coming into this round. Just not throwing all that. It's not busy enough. Right hand over the top, glancing land, puts Lewis.
Mavrovic is doing a good job.
Mavrovic started showing more aggression, attempting to push Lewis back and throwing more punches. Lewis remained composed and controlled the round with his jab and occasional power punches.
That's Lewis coming at him as he does, as we know he would. What do you see happen?
The opponent tonight is unpredictable. He's come in a lot lighter. Lewis has evidently been training with bigger guys. You got to bump him and bump into him and let him feel that extra weight that you have. Lewis hasn't done that. Was Holyfield?
Of course, the question in a fight between Lewis and Holyfield is who would attack whom. Here, Mavrovic has played the role of counterpuncher, and a point, round 4, 42 punches thrown by Lewis, only 19 counted by Kopybox for Mavrovic.
This fight with his left jab. I don't know why he doesn't continue to throw it. Doesn't need the extra so that the guy has to move or miss. He throws the jab and stands there.
But when he throws the jab, as he's been doing here for the last 20 years, all he has to do is throw it. He doesn't even have to land, and it chokes off his
Body shot, right hand to the body by Lewis.
Hard punches.
right hand that Lewis believes he has is that you start out right hand crazy and stay that way.
And plus, he's bumping this guy. He's using his extra weight. Bump into him. When you miss him, let him feel your big body.
Lewis picked up the pace slightly, landing more jabs and straight rights, but Mavrovic's iron chin was on full show. The challenger took some punishment but kept pressing forward.
Goodbye body shot.
Lennox Lewis' corner gave him some good advice.
Now Mavrovic's punch output is down to about 0 as Lewis attacks and lands another uppercut. Low blow by Lewis.
All right, break, stop, break.
Another fight with his opponent on the corner.
Yeah, well, Emmanuel Stewart pointed out that whenever Lennox isn't doing much, he's bouncing
he's
back.
a counterpuncher.
There's another sizzling uppercut.
Later on. Now he's using those big, long arms when the challenger throws.
96 in Madison Square Garden. The last time Lewis went the distance, it was a very close fight. Lewis got the decision by...
Just because you're champion.
No.
That body punch of Lewis changed a lot of stuff there. And the advantage for Lennox Lewis doesn't get perplexed. Things are not getting
his hands, George. It's as though he sees this as target practice.
Mavrovic had his best round so far, as he managed to land some punches on Lewis and pressure him more effectively. Lewis continued to control the range with his jab, but Mavrovic's toughness was becoming apparent.
Last round, almost as if he was conceding.
As though he wants to reestablish himself in the fight. But Lewis had an easy time of it in round
59, 55, 5 rounds to 1, Lennox Lewis. The only round I gave Zeljko Mavrovic is the 3rd round, 6th round. It seems that when Lennox hits him with that left jab and Mavrovic feels the power, he just stops.
Guys. And he just let it fly. This could have happened a lot earlier.
Let him go, Lennox, let him go.
While he was stepping away. And I think Mavrovic should move around there for 2 more rounds and then jump back on Lewis.
As Lennox is raking him, he hit the body with the left hook and now just landed another uppercut.
The good thing that Mavrovic is doing so far is that he is avoiding Lennox.
That's an awful hard defense to penetrate.
Hard left hand lands for Mavrovic. 2 uppercuts landing flush for Mavrovic. And another, and a right cross, and a left hook. And suddenly suddenly it's all Mavrovic as he lands flush on Lennox Lewis with a series of combinations.
Went it all his own way.
And now Lewis cuts loose.
Stop! Break!
Somewhat pounds start leaning on you.
Crowd-pleasing round for Yelena.
Round 7 would see an absolute corker from the challenger landing big on Lennox. But equally everything he landed, the champion would come back with more, both fighter riding on that second wind.
Stewart saying to Lewis, get him out of here. Everything was going Lewis's way, got a little lackadaisical, caught a few.
Right hand landed
And throw it 1-2 first and then come back with 1-2-3. You'll get it.
reluctant to throw.
Yeah, is that left hook?
And there it is. He lands the left hook this time.
There you go, force.
Another uppercut.
Every now and then Lewis does nothing, so why shouldn't he throw something? If Lewis would only stand a little taller, he wouldn't have to worry about those right hands. He has a tendency to just stick his head right out there.
Stop. Break. Let him go. Break.
Training for 11 months,
Let
it
him go,
appears
let
to
him
be
go, Lennox, let him
a
go.
little bit fresher.
Yeah, he's paid his dues. He's loud.
As the result
Great,
of
let
that
him go,
particular
Lennox.
Lewis right hand. But Mavrovic took it.
With Lennox back in the driver's seat again, using his jab and throwing more frequent right hands. Mavrovic was being outworked, but he wasn't discouraged. His defence was still solid, though his offence was limited.
Manuel Stewart said that this challenger was very, very difficult to look good in supreme condition.
Stewart looks like a prophet right now. He's the one who said that he thought Andrew Galata to beat Lewis a year ago before Lewis knocked him out in the first. But Mavrovic has been difficult for the...
Sometimes his right hand just feint it and then throw the hook.
Stop.
That's why his left hook should be effective.
But then you train, you have a train kind of feint a little bit.
Yeah, Mavrovic's corner asking him to fake with the right hand. Chino. Oh, now he talks.
As long as you have a good left jab, you don't have to get into a fight.
Well, Evander Holyfield went Jackson of Miami in the 8th round a few years back. So if all goes according to form,
Sometimes you have to concede. I'm not going to get a knockout that easy. I'm going to have to box. You can still earn your money boxing. He only decides to use it. He allows this guy to just stand in front of him.
With Mavrovic beginning to tire and Lewis taking advantage by landing harder shots, including several clean uppercuts. Mavrovic absorbed them but looked more fatigued. Lewis was clearly in control of the fight.
well, so in case you're wondering whether the scoring might be close going into the 10th round, you would know.
I'll tell you, I don't think it's close at all. Even in that big 7th round, that's right hand that had Mavrovic so hard he was hanging on for dear life. I got it 8 rounds to 1, 89-82. Ponderous as heck with a slow pushing jab. He's still out punching him by a mile. It's all Lennox Lewis.
No question. In
1,
fact,
2, 3.
if he knocks the guy out, which at this point looks unlikely, but if he does get the right hand,
Well, unless he throws enough of them, one after another, step it. But he's determined, and for that reason, he's standing right in front of Lewis, bows his head, and Lewis takes advantage of it. Because Lewis stands around and just stands in front of him and say, come on, do something. Pick him up to his chest. Strike.
danger for whom?
Lennox Lewis, because he's coasting. He's playing with fire, dropping his hand.
The 10th would see both fighters tired, a battle of the wits and who wanted it most. Fair play to the challenger, sticking it out with one of the greatest hitters of a generation. Win, lose or draw, he has done himself justice.
Quite as happy as was the case back in round number 7 when she thought her man had it going. And you heard both trainers telling their fighters that the opponent is tired. Probably right.
Right hand here and there, but he doesn't come back with anything. When you're fighting a guy who throws one shot at a time like that, you just wait.
And we go back to the theme that began the evening. That case effectively with the public tonight.
I think you should forget about Evander Holyfield and just have a dose of that guy. Well, forget those guys. Who are they? Good body, left hook to the body again.
So his most effective body shots ever in this fight. Of course, he's had a lot of rounds in which to do it.
And the guy's tall enough for it.
He's only gone 12 rounds once. That was against Tony Tucker
Boy, is he
5 years
tired.
ago in 1993. Yeah, mavrovic himself has only been in the 12th round one time. A minute and a half from now, both fighters will be going to the 12th round for only the second time in their careers.
I mean, he's almost rubbery.
Ooh, that's what he's been trying to do all night. Step back and throw that right.
So it's Mondo Exhausto.
The champion throwing hands and the challenger eating every single one of them and still asking for more. With both fighters in waters they wouldn't have wanted to see, and the 11th round legs were in full swing.
Final round. This heavyweight title fight.
Come on.
First ever in the state of Connecticut. First in New England.
His right eye also here. So I didn't see them work the inswell on it. Now you just can't sit back and wait. You just jump on him and forget about it.
Well, you heard Darky Smith asking his fighter fit to him.
You just can't hold back anything. This is your chance to be champ. This guy has really frightened Lewis by taking all those super hard right hands.
Waist.
I think maybe he doesn't know how to anymore. You have whole training camp of dropping your hands.
Jumping with the right hand lead there. That one lands hard.
Right hand at a time.
Lewis switching to a southpaw stance. How about that?
Moments only be captured with gems there.
Oh, thank you so much, George, but there's not much drama. It happens here tonight. There's virtually no chance that Lewis could lose round decision against a vegetarian from Croatia who's never been heard of on this. They go the distance.
And still WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
A well-deserved victory for the champion, but the challenger would take the moral win. To go in with Lennox Lewis and come out standing is a feat on its own. This would be Mavrovic last time he would step into the ring, retiring and heading back to Croatia with his beautiful wife and a crazy head of hair. We leave you with one question. Are you an old school boxing fan? If so, give that subscribe button a clash of heads. I've been Frank Monroe here at Below the Belt Boxing. Take care.